By saving Vegapunk, Luffy has gained one of the most sought after, strongest weapon in the whole world. Just think about how much having Caesar Clown meant to Big Mom and her military might, or the boost Queen gave to Kaido's army. Luffy as an emperor through Vegapunk's new lab has just become even more dangerous to his rivals. We find out from Lilith that Vegapunk isn't dead.
No way.
Okay, fine, we kinda already knew this, with Lilith technically being Vegapunk herself. However, she reveals the means to create a direct copy of Stella himself. This is something we predicted, as throughout the lab in Egghead, we saw body parts in tanks. And if Vegapunk can make a perfect clone like Stussy, then it's stupid to think he can't do the same for himself. In fact, he actually used this same method to visit Elbaf over 20 years ago, where he read all the books saved from Ohara. Vegapunk had to send this clone over to get the knowledge because the government would have gotten suspicious due to his long absence. Furthermore, Lilith also reveals that after she is done setting up her equipment, the same process that will allow her to bring back Stella can also help Bonnie's daddy, Kuma. And the way Bonnie looks at Lilith, it seems that she is not gonna be joining the Straw Hats. But another key detail to note here is that Lilith is not only building the equipment to bring back Stella, but she is creating a whole new lab altogether, just like in Egghead. Meaning the Sun Realm of Elbaf, where she is doing this, might be the scientific base of operations for the Straw Hats during their war against Emu and the government in the future. Also, let's not forget that Punk Records has been lifted up into the sky. So all the knowledge Vegapunk ever possessed can be shared worldwide in the future if this lab is complete. Vegapunk is basically going to be Google search in the future. But through this technology, he's pretty much immortalized anyways. As long as a clone is alive, a version of him can always be brought back. But the one who should be pissing their pants even more are the Gorosei, because in the Walrus Folk School of the Giants, a special library is present with all the books that Saul saved in Ohara 22 years ago. All their efforts to destroy the Tree of Knowledge was for nothing. Yet, the scarier thing for Emu right now is how the next generation of giants are being trained and taught in this school, created by a D in Saul himself. The term knowledge being power, or the pen is stronger than the sword, couldn't be more relevant than it is right now, as the way oppressive regimes usually rule over groups of people is by pitting them against each other. The more divided we are, easier to control, because we would be too busy fighting ourselves to not even care about the one orchestrating the whole thing, pulling the strings. This is War Tactics 101, Divide and Conquer. Emu and the government has been cultivating this for 800 years, be it through their propaganda, through flooding the world and limiting access for islands, causing them to be alienated from each other to ever come together and create a united front. For example, throughout One Piece, we have seen many nations grapple with poverty due to the heavenly tribute demanded by the Celestials. They have to put themselves through this hell just so they can be part of the government state and have the navy protect them from invaders and pirates. Whilst these invading pirates are created by this very system, as when people go hungry, they become pirates and turn to looting, as we saw with Whitebeard as a kid when his country was devastated. However, in the root of it all, from being impoverished to corruption to even being controlled by power-hungry lunatics who hide in the shadows, the remedy always is knowledge. We read about the past to change the future, and we learn about how the world works to invent things for our betterment. We study philosophy and fiction to dream and get even better ideas, which is why Saul decided to focus the last 20 years of his life leading a change for the people of Elbaf, starting with the next generation. Although Elbaf might have the same issue, they don't have an efficient method of communication, whether it's due to distance or cultural prejudice to mount change in this policy. So it's quite shocking to witness the giant school kids correcting themselves after calling the Straw Hats shorties, which in Elbaf is a discriminatory way of addressing another person. Now Luffy, Zoro and Usopp's first impression of all of this is what we would expect. They find it pretty lame. I mean, these guys are expected to see hardened warriors warriors. We're talking kids trained like Spartans, ready to die in combat the moment they can walk. Instead, they got all of this political correctness BS. However, there is a deeper reason to this change. We saw through Prince Loki meeting Luffy how high and mighty the previous generation of giants were. It's all about the strongest and fittest, the one who can rule over others. Hence the 100-year fight between Dory and Broggy. The sword speaks louder than words, but in turn, this would lead to pillaging and war all around the world, seeing humans and the weaker people as not worthy or less than them. Yet, they are still people, have feelings, lives, and purpose. There is no point in this discrimination other than to pad up the childish ego of someone like Loki. The giant kids having a change in mindset is exactly what the coming of dawn for the One Piece world means, where the barriers of racism and judgment are being broken down between humans, giants, fishermen, minks, and all of the oppressed. So there is unity to fight Imu's division, which gives him power. And we all know how busted the giants are. Like Dory and Broggy got a 1.8 billion bounty. That's a younger commander levels. So with this new generation of such warriors being trained in a school which teaches them value of sun god Nika and freedom, it's a massive threat to the current world order.